I'm Charlie Camp and I'm 27 years old and I work as a building apprentice. I think it is a male-dominated industry because in the previous generations it's been seen as being too hard for women to do. You know, and because there aren't any women working in those, you're not being seen, and because you're not being seen, people don't think it's an option.
There have been 3 or 4 apprentices that I can think of in the Wellington region in the years that I've been working here who have been women, but not many more than that. And I doubt whether I've met more than, in my entire working life, more than 6 women working on the tools on a construction site.
2 years in, I've met another girl and she's 22 and she's a qualified carpenter. And she started off straight from high school. I think she may have finished a year early and she's been working for her dad. It's like 1% of women. Yeah, I'm usually the only woman on site. This is a job site that I'm working on at the moment. It's a couple of townhouses that we're building in Titahi Bay. This is the first one, and currently we're standing in the lounge and kitchen area. As you can see, we haven't really done much on the inside of the house. Most of it's on the outside at the moment. But yeah, we'll take a look around. Usually it's a bit noisier than this, isn't it? Ollie, you eat enough food?
What you do, mate. What everyone else does. It's your job by right.
What's that? Keep the smoker shedders, yeah.
Wash the dish pot rather than throwing it out.
I washed it, I threw it out because it was disgusting.
I washed it this morning and it's undisgusting.
It's undisgusting. Sorry, Al. It is the hardest job I've ever done. Yeah. I have had back problems and just, you know, it takes ages to develop the kind of strength and the know-how on how to lift things. And I don't really push myself. Like, the boys will try and show off and lift as much as the older guys. And I'm just like, nah, I'll wait here and wait for someone to give me a hand. I'm not going to push myself too hard because it's dangerous. Yeah. When it's a bigger team, I have had issues that have had to be dealt to, but it's by other subcontractors, it's not by people that I work with. Yeah, but I do get teased as much as the other apprentices that I work with in my team. You know, it is just a part of they just make you feel like you're a bit of a dick and you're not very good, but it's their way of sort of showing you that they care and they want you to do better. Yeah, but when it's quite hard to deal with when it's coming from people outside of your work group.
It's a tough place for a young woman to live on a building site, but she is very determined that she is treated fairly and reasonably, and we've had very little difficulty on the sites that we've worked on. I can only think of one instance that caused a bit of grief, but that I felt was handled very well, both from our own point of view, from Charlie's point of view, and from the company that was employing the person who caused the grief, and I think it was more than adequately addressed.
When I first left high school, I was really sort of interested in hospitality, and I'd been working in cafes part-time from about the age of 14 just to have a little bit of income. My dad wanted me out of the house because I was causing a bit of grief for my mum.
Charlie had left school without much idea of what she wanted to do. She's always been interested in music and she parallels that interest with her daily grind.
Got headhunted by someone at Coffee Supreme and they called me in and I worked there for almost 2 years and then decided that really wasn't me, and I went and worked at Weta Digital as a runner for a couple of years, and once that ended I didn't really want to go back to hospitality, so I sort of have always at the back of my mind had the idea that I would want to do a trade. My dad's a builder and have always really been a hands-on learner, and so I sort of begged him for a job.
She picked that up, and a couple of months later she decided that she might be interested in doing an apprenticeship, so we put her in touch with one of the training organisations and gave her some insight into what that might involve.
And he spent about 2 months trying to talk me out of it. Yeah, he said it's really hard work, it's really physically labour intensive, and he wasn't sure that I would be able to do it. Yeah, and so they sort of took me on board because I didn't really know what else to do on a trial basis, and After 3 months they offered me an apprenticeship and said, well, you're here for now, you may as well give this a shot.
I guess it's perceived as being a male domain, and it has been a bastion of maleness for many years, but there's a huge shift in the industry now. I think Christchurch has made a big difference to the numbers of women in the construction industry. There are just not sufficient numbers of people out there to work and rebuild Christchurch, so there's been an active recruitment of anybody who wants to work, and many women have entered the workforce in all sorts of trades in Christchurch, which is great.
If kids see you working in these industries from a young age, then that seed is planted in their head and they start to think of it as being an option for them. Otherwise, you know, your parents talk you out of doing those sorts of things. It's totally like how you're nurtured. If you're told that it's not an option for you, you're never going to believe that it is. Yeah.